After reading 113 self-help books, I realized something shocking. Most books are nothing more than 300 pages of fluff wrapped around a single interesting idea. So let me save you the countless hours I spent reading that didn't truly benefit me and share the 3 books that actually changed my life. In this video, I am going to share the most valuable lessons from those books that helped me learn new skills, increase productivity, and improve my financial stability. So, the first book I am going to reveal drastically increased my productivity. I used to think that when I had more time, more money, or more energy, I would finally do the things I had been putting off. But in reality, time slips away faster than we realize. Before we know it, those dreams remain just that, dreams. For instance, I always wanted to start a YouTube channel, but I kept telling myself that I would start next month when work was less hectic or when I had more free time. But the perfect time never seemed to come, and the YouTube channel never got started. Then I read the book, Someday is Today, and learned about the importance of the small amounts of time that we waste while waiting for friends, train, or for our order at restaurants. These small pockets of time are so valuable that once I started utilizing them, I was able to start this channel. Now I upload regular videos on this channel about self-help and productivity. But the question arises, why do we delay? It's not just laziness or lack of motivation. Often, it's because we find comfort in the idea of later. Later is safe. It's a way of avoiding the discomfort and fear that come with taking action now. What if we fail? What if it's not good enough? These fears keep us in a cycle of procrastination, with someday becoming a convenient escape route. Before I reveal my learnings of the next book, let me ask you a question. Have you ever left a conversation feeling like you gave up more than you wanted just to avoid conflict? Maybe you settled for a compromise that left you feeling a bit unhappy, thinking, at least we both gave a little. This is a common issue we all face, especially when negotiating, whether it's with a boss over a raise, a client over a contract, or even with a family member over who gets the last piece of cake. The idea of meeting in the middle or compromising is often seen as the fair and mature thing to do. But what if I told you that there's a better way? One of the big ideas in Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference, is the concept of tactical empathy. This isn't about just agreeing with the other person or letting them win. Instead, it's about deeply understanding their perspective and using that insight to your advantage. Let's dig into why this matters and how you can use it. Imagine you're negotiating a salary increase. You ask for $70,000, your boss offers $60,000, and you settle at $65,000. It feels fair, right? But now you might feel undervalued, and your boss might feel like they overpaid. This meet-in-the-middle mindset is what Voss calls the compromise trap. So how can you avoid this? Use tactical empathy. Tactical empathy is about truly listening and understanding the emotions and motivations behind the other person's words. It's about seeing the world through their eyes and then using that understanding to guide the negotiation in your favor. A friend of mine recently used this approach during a salary negotiation. She didn't start with a number. Instead, she asked her boss what the company's biggest challenges were. She listened carefully and found out that the team was struggling with a high workload due to understaffing. So when she finally made her case, she didn't just ask for a higher salary. She proposed taking on additional responsibilities that would help alleviate the workload in exchange for a salary that reflected her expanded role. Not only did she get the raise she wanted, but she also positioned herself as a key player in solving the company's problems. The next time you find yourself in a negotiation, remember that understanding the other person's perspective is the most powerful tool. But here's the catch. Everything we've learned so far won't have a big impact on your life until you uncover the lessons in the next book, because it has the solutions to all of your financial problems. So, have you ever tried to stick to a budget and found yourself slipping up again and again? You're not alone. Budgeting often feels like a restrictive diet. You start with the best intentions, strictly planning out how much you'll spend on groceries, entertainment, and everything else. But just like a strict diet, it's easy to fall off the wagon. Maybe an unexpected expense pops up, or you're just tired of saying no to yourself all the time. Before you know it, you've blown the budget and feel worse than when you started. But why is budgeting so hard to stick to? And what's the alternative? The problem with traditional budgeting is that it doesn't align with how most people live their lives. Life is unpredictable. Expenses vary from month to month, and sticking to rigid categories feels like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. So instead of focusing on cutting back, back, Ramit Sethi, in his book I Will Teach You to Be Rich, suggests a different approach: the conscious spending plan. This method is all about spending extravagantly on the things you love and cutting costs mercilessly on the things you don't. It's a more flexible, intuitive way to manage your money that aligns with your real-life priorities. So how can you create the conscious spending plan? First, think about what really makes you happy. Is it dining out with friends, traveling, or maybe it's having the latest tech gadgets? Whatever it is, make sure you allocate money to those areas without guilt. Second, look at areas where you're spending money out of habit, not because it brings you joy. Maybe it's that gym membership you never use, or the subscription services you don't even remember signing up for. Cancel or downgrade them to free up money for what you love. Then set up systems to automatically allocate your money where it needs to go. Saving, bills, and spending, so you don't have to think about it. This not only saves time, but also reduces the temptation to overspend. Lastly, a conscious spending plan lets you adjust based on what's happening in your life. If you need to spend more in one category one month, you can do so without feeling like you failed. Let's say you're someone who loves to travel but feels guilty every time you book a trip because it doesn't fit into your budget. With a conscious spending plan, you can allocate more money toward travel because that's what brings you joy. You might cut back on dining out or shopping for clothes to fund your adventures. Instead of feeling guilty, you feel empowered, knowing that your spending aligns with your values. But there's still a problem left. You discovered the 3 books that changed my life. But it's not enough because I was still struggling with consistency even after reading those books. However, I overcame this by applying the 3 strategies and avoiding the 3 mistakes explained in this video. I would recommend you to watch it.